Grant Galea. Where do you see the MLL in the next 10 years in relation to other pro sports in terms of popularity? Do you think the MLS gaining popularity, it'll be hard to gain a large audience with MLL? And finally, in what cities do you see the expansion teams being added into and why? So Grant, 3 questions, awesome questions. So where do you see the MLL in 10 years in relation to other pro sports? So the other ones would be your mainstream sports. So NFL, NHL, MLB, MLS, and kind of those core. I think that we can continue to take a quarter, half a point, a few points off of the overall market share as lacrosse grows in popularity. And that is year over year growth at the bottom. So the youth population continues to broaden. At every next step, there are fewer opportunities. So fewer high schools to make a varsity team, fewer college teams, fewer pro teams. Although in lacrosse, the number of pro teams is much smaller than compared to the NFL or NHL, which 30 plus teams or whatever. Same thing in college, it's smaller sample sizes. So all of those will gradually increase, and that'll create more opportunity. And that's more of like you had mentioned, like a 10-year curve. I think there are ways that we can accelerate that growth by the way we market, by the way we advertise the game, by the way we play the game. Do you think the MLS gaining popularity will be a challenge for MLS or for MLL? And yes, absolutely. So people have a certain amount of bandwidth, whether they want to dedicate to watching the NFL, NBA, MLS, all three, a little bit of the MLL, whether they're just MLL. So you only have like a certain amount of time, in other words, that you want to invest as a consumer into one of the sports. So if the MLS continues to grow and the NFL continues to grow in NBA, this can be more difficult for the MLL to get in. So where do we find that gray area? Where do we find that opportunity? And then finally, where do the expansion teams come from? So right now it's looking like Atlanta is a great opportunity. They've been hosting a lot of MLL games as expansion games, but also the MLL finals were there and they were received really well. They're going to be there again this year. And then look again at where the All-Star game is this year in Houston. Obviously there's some appetite there for a team. So those would be my predicted next 2 markets. At a minimum, I'm always getting 2 meals in before I play. So that requires that you probably wake up around 7:30 or 8 so you can be done your first breakfast by 9.